Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see you. It's Monday, Marvelous Monday. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of anatomy of the leg and the knee. So keeping the knees healthy and happy. So this one's for my mama. So how does it work? We have femurs, so the leg bones, and they sit on top of the two menisci that sit on top of the tibia, so the tibial plateau. There's a bunch of muscles that help open and close our knee. So we have the quads in the front, and this is what I really wanted to cover today, the quads, but there's so much involved. So we have rectus femoris in the front. It crosses the hip, so it helps with hip flexion. It runs straight down the front, and it also blends with the other four quads in the common tendon here, and it attaches just below the knee. So you can feel that little bony prominence. That's where the quadriceps tendon attaches. It actually becomes the patellar tendon. So we have the kneecap, the patella, and it's kind of like a sesamoid bone. So it's like a floating bone, and it helps with the shearing forces, distributing the weight. It actually is attached to the tendon. So it's not just this thing on the front. It's a floating bone inside the tendon of our muscle. And the best way to think about that is to think about it as being a little piece of clay attached to a string. So it's kind of movable, and there's fluid behind it and around it, and if we think about it in a different way, we start to use it in a different way. So we also have some other muscles. The quads are four muscles. So we have vastus lateralis, this muscle on the outside. The IT band sits on top of it, and they can become like adhered and stuck together and change the way we use our knee. So we also have vastus medialis. So this muscle is pretty commonly weak in most people. It does just the last 5 degrees of extension. So if let's say you're doing a squat or you're going to stand up, but you don't fully extend at the knee, you won't be strengthening this muscle here. So think about a bodybuilder and the little teardrop shaped muscle here on the inside of the knee, just above. And then we have vastus intermedius. Another just like helps with the strength. It attaches to the femur and blends with the tendon at the bottom. It sits underneath rectus femoris. So those are the four. And then in the front of the leg here, we also have tibialis anterior. And this muscle is just as important to keep stretched, not just for healthy feet, but also for nice movement of the knee. There's a fascial connection from the quads to the bone, and a fascial connection from the bone to tibialis anterior. So think about it as all one nice big line that goes right out the second toe. So that's what I want us to take a nice breath today. We're going to trace some lines as we breathe. So the line is going to go from the second toe, and you're just going to take a nice breath in and draw it straight up the front of your foot, up the front of the ankle, front of the leg, the middle of the knee, all the way to the top. Exhale. Good. And now we're going to draw the line down. Inhale, down the middle of the knee, down the front of the leg, and exhale as you get to the ankles and out the second toe. If you're doing this exercise standing, you want to think about your hips being in line with your second toe. And that's a really nice activity to just take some breaths and feel that beautiful line down the front. So the bones move. The bones have their own rhythm as we open and close the knee. Most of us aren't really thinking about how the bones are moving. We just think about how we don't even think about it. We just move our bodies. And most of us will engage our muscles or use our bones and forget about our muscles. So the bone rhythm for the femur at the knee. So how does this move? How do these two bones move together? So as we flex our knees, so as we turn sideways here, as we close our knee like this, something really interesting happens. So the femur is actually going to roll out. So see if you can like bend your knee and feel just how there's a small roll in this bone externally, a little external rotation. And what happens below the knee is that there's this internal rotation. The tibia moves medially. So we have this external and internal rotation. And as you go to straighten, the opposite happens. So the femur is going to roll in and the tibia is going to move out. So just playing with that, thinking about how those two bones are moving in relationship to each other. And as we bend at the knee, we also have another sliding and gliding motion. So the condyles of the femur, these two rounded, smooth parts that sit on top of our meniscus, that sit on top of the tibial plateau. They are going to roll as we bend our knee. I think you can see it better this way. So as we bend the knee, they're going to roll forward and towards the back. And what happens at the tibial plateau is it actually is going to slide forward. So we have rolling and a sliding. And as we go to straighten the knee, we have a sliding and a rolling. So just being a little conscious of this movement, and you might want to play with it because I think it's hard for our brain to feel these things sometimes and to get involved. So we have a sliding and a rolling. Good. Excellent. So one of the best ways to keep your knees moving nice and straight is to strengthen the vastus medialis muscle. Now, there's lots we can do. You can strengthen the hips. Gluteus medius is a great muscle to strengthen. One-legged standing is perfect for that. But to strengthen this little muscle, I'm going to cut down here. You're just going to get a towel. It doesn't have to be thick. Just a nice, simple towel rolled up. And you're going to just put it under your knee. Can you guys see that okay? So, towels are right underneath my knee. And I'm just going to think about bringing my kneecap up towards my hip and really extending the leg. So I'm going to push the back of the knee right into the towel here. And you can actually feel here at the inside of your leg, at the inside of your knee, you can just put your hand there and feel how that muscle activates. Try it with this leg and see. It's right in here. Good. Amazing. Amazing. So that's one exercise to help keep the knee tracking straight on the leg. Another really nice exercise is to stretch your tibialis anterior. So tibialis anterior, we covered this before. It's this muscle that runs from the knee to the ankle. And it's on the outside of the little ridge of bone, outside of your shin bone. And the stretch for that is to drag your foot. So you are going to just put your toes on the ground. Now there is a little bit, I'm going to move my chair. There is a small rotation you want to remember here. So I'm just going to think about putting my pinky toe, or my last two toes, on the ground. So you see how my foot's almost like rolling out. I just want to have the pressure on those last two toes, and you'll get a nice stretch through the front of the leg here. Try those. Try them. Remember, your knees are sliding and gliding and slippery. I read a good analogy that talked about it as like having air, like filling up air in your tires when you're standing or walking. Or imagining slippery, soapy bubbles in between the bones in your knees. So play with those. Let me know how it goes. I love you. Bye.